Imagine if you went from feeling fine every day to feeling amazing. How would your life be different? Everyone has the ability to feel amazing again and again. You just need the right tools to get there. If you're ready to feel amazing, stick around. Now, here's the host of the I'm Not Fine show with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Enns.
Welcome back, you guys, to another week and another powerful episode on the I'm Not Fine show, and another amazing, phenomenal friend, peer, and guest, Navid Moosa, on the show this week. I'm so incredibly excited to have you on here. I mean, we connected in the same mastermind last year and saw you in person for the last time last fall. And we just have so much in common between entrepreneurship and health. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show too, because I feel like we can just organically have such an amazing conversation about all of these things that are really, really important for so many people. So guys, I want you guys to really take your notebooks out. I want you guys to take mental notes if you're driving in the car and you can't write these things down. But take notes today, because we're going to give you actionable steps that you can take away. That's why Navid's here. That's why we want to have this conversation, because this is going to be an educational, but also a takeaway episode today here. But first, Navid is a serial entrepreneur and health advocate, which I love about you, Navid. Like, you're so disciplined with that. Over the span of 2 generations, but first of his in the US, Navid has found that with 4 solid foundational steps that he calls the MDTA method, which we're going to dive into today. Literally, anyone can build a business that will thrive in an economy. I'm so excited to have you here, Navid. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lizzie. I love being in your presence, virtually or in, it doesn't matter. I love it. I love the energy. I love
it. Thank you. Thank you. It's really, really fun. And I feel like we just like thrive off of each other too. When we see each other in person, or when we just talk on a phone, it's like chop, 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 chop. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Navid.
So I'm first generation in this country. My family came from Uganda. They were forced out of the country. So now I'm here, and essentially, and it's hard to talk about myself because I was always raised to be humble, put your head down, do your work, and that's it, right? So, but essentially, I'm father of 2. I'm a devout Muslim, a devout father. I own several different businesses. Took me 5 years to graduate high school because I loved it so much. Went to 3 different colleges, dropped out of all 3 of them. And now at the almost ripe age of 50, I am living a life that I never thought statistically I should be living. And it's absolutely amazing. Like, I'm actually looking forward, as life goes on, I'm actually looking more forward to it.
Isn't that amazing? Like, that's such a powerful place to be in.
It's so much peace.
Yes.
It's so much peace to be like, yo, I'm looking forward to the next. I'm not worried about bring on 50, 55, 60, bring them on, because, oh my gosh, what I'm learning and living, I'm excited about every single day I wake up, every single day.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. People are like, oh, they're in their late 30s. Like, I'm in my late 30s and, headed towards 40. I really don't dread it. I'm like, come on, let's go. Let's do this.
That's right.
So
that's
exciting.
right.
Yeah. And did I hear you say that you dropped out of 3 colleges?
Yeah.
Wow. What happened there? You were just like, I'm bored?
I'm bored. That's exactly what happened. So my senior year in high school, we were done, right? That's it. I didn't pass, and so I could either go back and or not go back. And I was like, I got to go back, get my high school degree. So I went back, but I know I didn't like school. So I went back on a part-time basis, and I did a co-op program that got me into working. Then I was like, all right, maybe I should go to school. I went to one college. I tried it for one semester, another semester, another semester. I ended up dropping out and worked. Tried it again, dropped out, worked. The last college, I don't even know if we said I went to there. I was there for like literally a week. I went there and I drove to the school, got to the parking lot, and I said, this is stupid. What am I doing? I turned right around, didn't even go to my classes, and just went to work. And I called my boss. I said, do you need me in? I come in early. He's like, yeah, it's okay, cool. I'm coming in. That was it. I was like, what am I doing? I'm not living for me. I'm living for my parents. I'm living for my family. I'm living for them. They want me to go to college because my other brothers went to college. And I kept telling them, I'm not college material. I'm just not, I just want to work. I just want to work. Leave me be.
Wow.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. How old were you at this point in time?
I'm gonna say I was close to 20, 23, 23, 24.
I mean, that's pretty impressive for someone in their, younger 20s to
Yeah.
be able to realize that. It's so funny because I went first through 8th grade when I was in the Amish community. That's all we had, first through 8th grade.
Okay.
And I remember being in the 5th and 6th grade where I had 3 years left and I was so bored. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't need to know anything else that I have already learned in school. Granted, I did, but nothing they were teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
I had learned pretty much everything I needed to learn at that point in time. It was literally everything after that for me was like fine tuning what I already knew. So I was bored. I just wanted to go home and like work on the farm. That's all I
Yeah.
knew at that point in time. But I resonate with that because I was just like, I'm done. Like those last couple years, I was done. I was like, I'm wasting my time here,
Yeah.
which
And
is
that,
wild.
I mean, you notice it just at a very young age. I mean, I think a lot of people notice these things or they realize it, but they internalize it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew I didn't want to go, but I'm like, everybody else is going, so I should do because everybody else is doing it in the house, right? So I'm like, okay, fine. They're successful, or at least I think they're successful. And success at 18, 17 is, oh, you have a car? That's success. That's it. Right.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, well, if you went to college and everyone likes you and your grades are good, your grades are on the refrigerator and being displayed everywhere. Mine aren't because I'm not getting the grades. Right. So I'm like, I should do it. I should do it. And it took me, and I'm still, like I said, I'm still finding my voice at
Yeah.
this age. But back then, I think a lot like you, myself, as a lot of us who we knew it, we just didn't know how to externally talk about it or live it
Yeah.
without in an unashameful way. And I guess is the best way I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And the reality is life is a whole discovery. And if you're not discovering these things about you your entire life and ever evolving and growing, you're stagnant and you're not going to grow and go in the direction that you want and accomplish what you want to accomplish if you're not in that self-discovery. And that
Yeah.
is what I want to talk about. It's like in the beginning, you're like, I'm excited. Like I'm excited for life in the years to come. That means that you are in a you're living in self-discovery and you're
Mhm.
excited about living in self-discovery, and that gets me pumped up because I'm like, yes, like because any trials and tribulations that come your way when you're in that mindset, they're not that hard. They really aren't, because you're going to go, okay, what is the lesson here? What is this teaching me? And how is this going to make me better and prepare me for something bigger that is coming?
Absolutely. I mean, you hear it in the masterminds we do, we have to go around. Hey, what are you up to? What are you up to? And I always say nothing. Because
Yeah.
to me, it's I wake up and if there's a problem, okay, I can tell you about it, complain about it, but it's not gonna really do anything. I'm just gonna deal
Yeah.
with it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I never thought of it till you said it. It's a self-discovery. Like I'm discovering how strong I actually am mentally. I'm discovering how strong I am just verbally. I'm discovering all these things about me still every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened after that? You said the last college, you were like, hey, this is not for me. Let me just go work. What happened after that? What's that journey been from there? Because you've built an amazing life.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, after that, I was working at a pizza shop and I was working at a bank, and the fun life is just it's so ironic. When I was a senior in high school, the first time I was a senior, we had this class. It was like a those who don't want to go to college kind of class, if you will, like a VOTEC or something. And we had to run a fake business. During that, I was elected the CEO, ironically, back then, right? And I'm like, why'd you guys make me the CEO? I'm the dumbass. I got a 1.17 GPA. How am I CEO of this thing, right? So they vote me the CEO. The HR manager of a bank comes in to teach us about banking and financing. And I was okay, fine. Fast forward 5 years later, after I decided not go to that college the last time I dropped out, I go apply for the job. Guess who I interviewed with? That same lady from 5 years
Wow.
before. I didn't remember her. She remembered me. And she said, And she called me. She was like, "Hey, this is so and so. When can you come in?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, what's for?" It's our interview. I forgot I applied. I totally forgot I applied. I was just working. I was happy making tips at a pizza shop. I didn't care. So she called me in for the interview, and we're sitting there, and she's interviewing the questions. And at the end, she was like, she puts her pen down. She's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." She's like, "Did I deliver pizza to your house and it was cold or something? Like, what, did I mess up a delivery order? What did I do?" And she's like, "My name is so and so, and I came and I saw you 5 years ago in so and so's class." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, I apologize. Now I remember." She was like, "Yeah." I said, "What made you pick my application out?" She was like, "Because you should have applied here 5 years ago and worked here 5 years ago." And I was like, "Wow." She was like, "I've been waiting for you." She's like, "You are the perfect kind of person we need in the banking industry. Let's get you started." So I was a teller, and that got me into finance that way. So I went from a part-time teller, and then that gave me a position at a big box store, if you will, to be their cash manager part-time. So I worked. So just to give you a thing, in my second senior year in high school, I went to school till 11. I worked from midnight, 12 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight, Monday through Friday. And then I worked 12 o'clock in the afternoon to midnight every Saturday and Sunday. I did that for my whole senior year. And then I did it when I graduated. And then I did it even the whole year after that. For almost 2 years, I worked 7 days a week, two jobs. Because after I
Wow.
graduated, I worked at my dad's shop. And when I was done with my dad's shop, I worked over here. And I was just working, 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 working. And that was really about it. And that's all I really knew. And I loved it. I never regretted, like, "Oh, I'm missing out. I don't drink, never have, never will. Don't smoke, never have, never will. I don't go to the clubs. I'm not a party guy." For me, having a good time was just being around family and friends and having good food. So I didn't feel like I missed out on anything, but I just worked from that day on. Like I was just working,
Hmm.
working and working and learning through my
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that part of your culture too?
Oh, the work. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the culture was going to school, getting a degree, becoming a doctor or an engineer or some sorts, whatever, and then that paying your bills, and that's really about it. My father was an entrepreneur. Like I said, in Uganda, when they left Uganda, they were forced out of Uganda in Africa. He owned hotels in there, so he was an entrepreneur himself,
Oh, wow.
right? So my dad went to fifth grade and never went past fifth grade. My mother never went to school, period, ever. Ironically, my grandfather on my dad's side was sat on the board of education.
My gosh.
So we had a mixture of everything. And I was like, deuce out of school. I just want to go work. Let me
Yeah.
go work and get paid. Yeah.
It's almost like you had a lot of your grandfather's genetics,
Yeah.
and then your father as well, because they were both like entrepreneurial, and then you come in and you're like, you're a disruptor, because like all of your other siblings like went to college and they did what your parents wanted them to do, and well, disruptors and black sheeps as a family are usually the ones that do things completely different.
Yes.
And we need people like that in the world. Like we don't want everybody to just stay in the box, and sometimes that path can feel quite off. It can feel like you're just a really, really different person and people don't understand you and they don't get you. But they're not really supposed to understand you because they can't. And that's okay. It's not meant for everybody. Not everybody's supposed to live a life like that or
Mm,
wants to. And I think that, people need to understand that is not everybody wants to be a serial entrepreneur. A lot of people want to have a steady 9 to 5 job and that's it. And if that's what you want to do, then you have to be okay with that. And
yeah.
let's be honest, like there are people that are entrepreneurs and we provide jobs for other people. So now we're, providing that for the people that want the 9 to 5 job. And it's just part of it. That's life. And that's okay. But I think that, people like you and I, like sometimes it can feel like there's this constant push and pull because it's
Mm,
like, hey, we are disruptors and we are people that are like thinking outside of the box and doing things completely different. And it's really, really important that we align ourselves with people that that are going through the same things as well, because you need that support going through it too. um With that being said, we have to go to our first break here, but when we come back, I want to dive into that journey of you know, you were a bank teller and then you started, you know, working in the finance and
Yeah.
stuff. And I want to talk about that journey of like going from that to, you know, building and owning all the businesses that you have now
Yeah.
and what it took for you to get there, because I think that that's the messy part. That's the part where, you know, people may meet you now and be like, oh my gosh, Navid has his life together and he's so structured and he only works this many hours. We got to talk about how many hours a day you work, because it's absolutely crazy what you've done, which is amazing. But they see that now. But what they
Yeah.
don't see is all those years of the work and the time that you put into building what you have now. That's the messy part. And that
Yeah, it
is the
is.
part I want to talk about when we come back. So
All
guys,
right.
don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm Lizzie, your host on the I'm Not Fine show. We'll be right back after the break.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Enns will provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Enns. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to dive right into this next segment here with Navid, because I'm really, really excited about this one. And I want you, Navid, to just walk us through like what happened after that. Like, how many businesses do you own now?
I gotta think.
You don't even know.
So it's about 7.
7 different businesses.
So about 7 different businesses. Yeah.
It's amazing. That's phenomenal. So how did you get there? Like, how did you start all of a sudden going from, you know, being a bank teller in finance to now, heck, and you got to brag about that, like 7 businesses. And I can't wait for you to tell people how many hours a day you work, like insane. So take it away.
All right. So it started when I was the bank teller, and I just merely asked a question. Literally one question changed my life. And it was asking a guy who kept coming in every so often, asking him, what do you do to make this much money? Like, I just had to ask him. And he explained real estate to me. And I said, okay, I would like to learn. He said, sure. And that's how it started. And so he showed me the methods that he did. So we said, okay, fine. And then I started investing in real estate at that time. The very first deal I did was the worst thing in the world. I actually ended up losing the home and going to foreclosure, and it got repossessed back by the bank.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, yeah, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do real estate. I'm not very good at it, because I now owe, all this money to the bank and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, this does not work. So I just went back to working. And then throughout the years, as I bounced from job to job, not too many jobs, but they're all in the financial industry, people kept saying, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you don't belong here. You belong in sales. You belong in sales. I'm like, I hate sales. I I don't want to deal with sales. They're like, that's the beauty of it, Navid. You don't sell stuff. You tell people about things, and that just makes
Mhm.
them want to buy it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? So once I started realizing what they were telling me, that you don't sell, you tell, essentially, I embraced it,
Mm-hmm.
sort of. My brother got sick and tired of me for my 30th birthday. He got sick and tired of me so much about talking about real estate. He ended up, as a birthday gift, my 30th birthday, he purchased my real estate classes for me. And so he was like, he literally sent me a message. He said, here, do me a favor, shut the fuck up, take this damn class, and just go get your damn real estate license. I was like, okay. So, and that's how it started. I got my real estate license. I just started telling people that I'm a realtor, and I was not introduced to the, like most of my life, it was far from tradition. It was out of the box. It wasn't in the box. So I got introduced to investing in real estate.
Ah,
Because I got introduced to investing in real estate, the assumption was everybody who was a real estate agent knew what I knew.
yeah.
And that was assumptions aren't correct, and no exception to the rule. That could be as inaccurate statement as ever. I would say less than 5% only knew or understood when I would talk about investing in real estate as a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
It took me years, Liz, I mean years, to put that connection together, that what I know isn't what other people know. I
Yeah.
was very, as I say, God's light shined through me and said, this is the path you're going to take, and you're going to take this path whether you like it or not, whether you fight it or not. Add that to the element of I'm first generation in this country. So my parents didn't know how to deal with me and all the things I was being exposed to at my age and stuff like that, and all the different opportunities. So they didn't know what to do. I'm in different areas. No one knows how to deal with me. So I'm finding out who I am, discovering who I am through all this process.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that one question changed my life, because now he shows me real estate. Now I get into real estate, and then I'm running across other business owners who are using the money they're making in real estate and in their businesses to invest into real estate. So when the other opportunities came about for other, to invest in other businesses. So when I tell you guys that I have 7 businesses, it's not like I founded all of them from the ground up. A lot of them are people who were struggling, and I'm a systems guy. That's what I learned when I was in financing. I was learning systems in general. I would say, well, I'll tell you what, I will come in and help your business grow for a ownership stake. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want money right away. Just wanted ownership of it, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted equity. So the money I would make from my real estate deals allowed me to buy into some of these businesses.
Yep.
And now they're thriving, which means I'm thriving.
Yep.
And then that allowed me to help other family members saying, hey, I want to start this. I'm like, well, I have a couple bucks. I'll give you some startup cash for ownership. And so as that life went on and these opportunities came about, I just started buying into businesses. Okay, I'll buy into this, I'll buy into that. And so now when people say, how many do you own? I'm like, yeah, I own 7 different businesses. And how many hours do you work a week? Right. And when I
Yep.
tell them I work 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, they're like, wait, what? How do you
Mm-hmm.
work 4 hours a day, 4 days a week? That's the MDTA method.
Yep. And that's the epitome of making your money work for you, and you're not
Oh,
working for your money.
absolutely. Absolutely. Don't get me
Yep.
wrong. Like I said, I'm 49, going to be 50 here. It took me a very, very long time. I mean, over a decade to understand the concept, because in school, you're taught get a job, pay your bills, get a job, pay your bills, spend
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I did that. I bought dumb stuff throughout my life, and it took me a long, long time to understand that. But as life got on and I got more comfortable with who I wasn't the college kid. I wasn't the cookie cutter child. I wasn't the one who stayed on the quote unquote right path, if you will, but I stood on my path. And
Yeah.
I was very confident and comfortable in that. Once I understood it and actually owned it, then like everything just looked different.
Yeah.
Everything just looked and felt different.
It does. And that's when you start, embracing who you really are, but also embracing the fact that your journey in this life is going to look completely different than most people's. And
Oh, absolutely.
part
Yeah.
of your, yeah, and part of your, you said that you like systems. That's your strength. And part of that was shown to you when God put you in that bank for a reason, to show
Right.
you that. So he put you in there and to show you that. I always call it like, you know, the story in the Bible where it talks about David and how he killed a lion and then he
Yes.
killed a bear, and then eventually that led to Goliath. Well, if he wouldn't have had to kill the lion and the bear, he couldn't have handled Goliath in the way that he did.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
every hard lesson that comes is literally preparing you for the next harder lesson that's
Yeah.
coming. But you can't become better and stronger and more efficient if you don't have, like, sometimes like the small hard things where we make such a big deal out of it and we're like, oh my gosh, like we don't want to go through it. But I've gotten to this place where I embrace it, where there's so much peace there, because even if hardship comes and I have to go face really hard things, it comes with a sense of peace as well. Because I
Mhm.
know at the end of the day, it's already finished.
Yeah,
You
it is.
already know that it's already finished, and it's going the direction that it's supposed to be going, and this is just part of it. There's peace within that. Now, it doesn't mean that you always enjoy all the hard things that are coming. It's okay to not love all the hard things. It's okay to not want to, because we're human. We don't, we don't always want to go through hard things. But I think that if you can get to a place where you say, okay, I can't grow if I'm comfortable, and I have to embrace the discomfort in order to become stronger and learn the lessons that I need to learn to go where I want to go, life becomes much easier.
Oh, absolutely. To piggyback off your statement about the smaller things, I think as humans, we don't give ourselves enough credit of the
Mhm.
things we put ourselves through,
Yeah.
and or we forget what we put ourselves through
Yeah.
because we've created this. Whether we know it or not, we move out of our comfort zones in multiple facets of our life. Excuse me. And then what happens is we create a new comfort zone, a new comfort zone, a new comfort zone. We forget the other comfort zones we left behind.
Hmm.
And I think it's important to reflect on where you come from to realize the hardship you've done, because it's kind of like, hey, I put myself through this. So this is just next
Yeah.
level of that. If I can
Yeah.
do that, I can do this. And that's like the MD, the discipline portion of MDTA
Hmm.
is that
Yeah.
there's a version of you that you saw. There's something out there that caught your eye and you said, oh, I want to get there. And then you want to get there, but you don't realize the path to get there. There's nowhere it's written that says,
Yeah.
hey, your path is going to be simple. It's going to be full of laughter and love and joy.
Yeah.
No, no,
No,
it's
no,
not.
no. Now there will be laughter and love and joy, because clearly we're sitting here having a
Well,
lot
yeah.
of fun having this
On
conversation.
that other side, there'll be laughter, love, and joy. But getting there, oh, there's a lot of bleeps and words and letters you don't want to say out loud or stuff like. Oh man, it just becomes a thing. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
No, no, absolutely not. The one thing that I was having this conversation with someone the other day about a lot of times I call it the pit. And the pit is where the hard things happen. And we find ourselves in the pit and we're like frustrated, we're upset, we're angry, we're uncomfortable, we are having to face things we don't want to face. And here's what most humans do. They just want to get out of the pit. But the pit isn't meant to be crawled out of unless you learn the valuable lesson that you're supposed to learn in the pit. Now, we can get ourselves, so this is where cycles happen. We can get ourselves out of the pit without learning the lesson, but the reality is you're going to end up right back in there. So what I mean by that is there's cycles.
Yeah.
So if you're like, hey, every 2 months, every 6 months, every year around this time, I find myself surrounded by the same people that are treating me the same way. I find myself in the same situation, whether it's different people or different circumstances, but you're dealing with the same residual things. It literally is life's lesson trying to tell you, you haven't learned what you needed to learn. And until you learn what you need to learn in that pit and get the valuable lesson and then come out of it, you're always going to end up back in there. So when you are in the hard times, the most important important thing to do is allow yourself to be in there and sit with it and learn what you need to learn and then come out of it.
Amen.
And that's
Absolutely.
how you grow into the next stage. So we got to go to our next break here, but when we come back, we're going to dive into your method because I want to hear about your method here. So
Absolutely.
guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to our second break here, but we'll be right back with more amazing information for you guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Enns will provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Enns. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys are loving this show today because I'm having a lot of fun. So I just want to thank you again, Navid, for coming on here. Question.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people find you?
At the Navid Moosa on all the socials. It's the same handle, at THE Navid Moosa.
Love it. That's awesome.
It's the best way. Simple. Nice and simple.
Yeah, I like it. We like simple, but organized. Which brings us to the method, the MDTA method. What is it?
All right. So the MDTA method stands for mindset, discipline, time management, and action. And now these 4 pillars, if you will, it's what I call the 4 pillars of success. They are things with all the multiple businesses that I'm either a ownership of or part of, partnership, so whatever. And then learning what I learned from my father when born and raised here. These 4 pillars can essentially help you with almost anything. I mean, from personal to business. So the first one is mindset. There's a thing, you have your brain, which is physical, and you have your mind, which is mental. Your brain is meant to protect you. And so the example I tell people is try to pinch yourself. Like really, really try to pinch yourself really, really hard. You can't, you won't be able to, because your brain says, hey, oh, you're inflicting harm. So I'm not going to let you do that. So anyway, now, if you try to pinch someone else who pissed you off, you can pinch the crap out of them, whatever, because it's not hurting you, right? It's hurting them. But now mentally, your mind is going to push you and is going to say, hey, brain, I know you're here, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of reform you and shape you to something else, right? Because the phrase is make up your mind, not make up your brain. So what ends up happening is that when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone to do something different, the brain kicks in and goes, hey, let's not do this. You're scared. All these things are kicking in. Let's sit back and relax and let's just go back to where we were. We're happy over there. Yeah. But if you really want to do something, you really want to get it done, your mind goes, we promised ourselves that this is the version of the person we're going to be. And in order to do that, we need to get uncomfortable. We need to get uneasy, and we need to get stronger. And let's push ourselves to that. So your brain and your mind now have this battle, right? They have this true legit battle. When that battle takes place and the mind wins, that's when the mindset shift actually takes place. And now when that shift takes place, you now have a brand new mindset. You have a brand new way of thinking. You've grown out of your comfort zone and you've created a new comfort zone. It says early stages, right? But if you're strong enough, you'll fight it back and forth, you'll create it. So that's the mindset. Then there's the discipline. And I said it before earlier, the discipline portion, and M mindset, D for discipline. The discipline is you've seen something in your life, whether it be a commercial, a TV show, something that said, I want to be that. I want to get there. And it's called you so much. It's speaking to you so much that you're like, I need to get to through hell or high water. So now, like you said before, we just look at the end goal. We don't look at, oh, Navid's got all this stuff. You guys, if you knew what I went through, you wouldn't do it probably. You'd be like, nope, bullshit. I'm gonna sit back here, give me a job. I'm happy. Leave me alone.
Yep.
But the reality of it is that the discipline is what's going to take you. Now, people confuse discipline with motivation.
Yeah.
Motivation is just jump starting your day, but that's it. You may need to jump start every single day, stuff like that. With the discipline, says, hey, my why is strong enough, and the why I want to do something I want to do is going to keep me disciplined to go through. So that means you need to wake up at 3:45 every single day and hit that gym because you want to be disciplined to be a bodybuilding competition. That's something. So you need to do it. No matter if it's negative 20 degrees out there or 120 degrees outside, you're going to go and get that workout in. So the discipline to take you where it is you wanted to go, that has to be there, right? And if we can create that. Then there's the T, right? That's the T stands for time management. Time management is, well, you have to structure a template. Now, this goes back to my systems day, my systems in the banks where we have operational stuff like that. The time management is what I learned from creating these systems internally was that time management was always looked at and taught at as if you have to do it in this. And if you don't do it in this way, forget it, it's not going to work. That's false. Time management is a mere template. You need to tell yourself, yes, I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to wake up at 4:45 or 3. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and at 4 o'clock, I'll wake up. By 4:30, I'm going to do my prayers. 5 o'clock, I'm going to meditate. By 6 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and get breakfast ready for the kids. 7 o'clock, they're on the bus. 8 o'clock, I'm off for the gym. Boom, 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 throughout the whole day. It is okay is if one day your kids are sick and now you have to pivot, or you wake up and your car battery's dead, or you got a flat tire. A lot of times what happened is when something goes wrong early in our stages, because remember, now we had the mindset shift, we were disciplining ourselves, and we're implementing this time schedule now, this time management schedule. And then when it's brand new and you're like, I'm going to conquer the day, and one thing goes wrong, we're like, the hell with it. This wasn't meant to be. This is stupid. I never should have done it. We abandon ship and go back to our comfort zone. We can't do that. If you get a flat tire, you're going to poke a hole in the other 3 tires? No, you're going to fix that flat tire. If you open up your dozen eggs and we have one cracked egg, you're going to crack the other 11? No. You have a spare tire, you change it. You got 11 other eggs, you fry one of those sons of bitches up and you keep moving with your day. We don't do that. Why? We are scared for the last step, action. We are scared to actually take action. Or when we do take action, something like this, it's a cop-out. It's a legit reason for us to cop out and say, oh, see, I tried it. I tried it. I did everything Navid said, everything Lizzie said. They told me to do it. Nope, it wasn't meant for me. Bullshit. And a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, some people say they hide behind God. They're like, oh, well, it wasn't meant to be. God did it. Don't do that. Don't hide behind God. God is giving you an opportunity. You see, when you woke up and that flat tire was there and that 9 o'clock appointment you have an opportunity to just show yourself, I want this bad that I'm going to go ahead, get the spare tire done, call my 9 o'clock appointment and say, hey, listen, I had a little hiccup. I'll be there 15 minutes late. Are we still good for that appointment? Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you. We don't do that. We go, oh, nope, I got a flat tire. It's going to take me 30 minutes to change it. The client's not going to want to see me. Nope, that wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. Why? We're scared to take that action. Because if we take that action, and if that action doesn't give us the result we wanted, we're going to think we failed. Let's think differently. Remember, mindset. Say, hey, if we take that action and it does give us the result we want, then it was worth it. Right. So I spoke at a school. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying something?
No, I was gonna say part of that is if you have the action and there's a level of commitment that comes with that. But let's say, for example, exactly what you were saying is like hiding behind God. Where if
Yeah,
we're hiding behind God and we know that there's something that we want, but we're always looking for a reason why it wouldn't work, that's not commitment.
that's right.
That's looking for what is not going to work. And it's the same idea as, we're talking about business here, but also I see that a lot in terms of our health. And when we want to heal our bodies and take action we have to change our lifestyle. We have to change what
Yes.
we're feeding it. We have to change how we're sleeping, how we're moving, all those things. But one of the things that I always ask my clients is, okay, we know what your goals are. You've told me what your goals are. Now, my next question to you is, what are you committed to?
That's right.
And if you are not committed to this, taking the action steps to get you there, it's not going to work. So let's rephrase this and go, if someone comes to me and they say, I ask them, what are your 3 goals for the week? And they tell me, they go, well, I'm going to try. The minute that they use the word try, I tell them, no, you're not going to try. We're going to slap that word out of our vocabulary and we're going to say we're going to do and I make them practice. I go, okay, tell me what it feels like when you say I'm going to try. So they practice. I'm going to try to do A, B, and C. How do you feel about that? It kind of feels like I don't want to do it. Okay. Now let's rephrase it and say, I'm going to do A, B, and C. How do you feel about that? It makes me feel like I'm actually going to do it. There's a commitment behind the words I'm going to versus I'm going to try. You're not committed. The minute someone tells me that I'm going to try to make it to your party, I'm going to be like, yeah, they're not going to come because they're not committed. And so
No,
their
absolutely.
vocabulary is like, it's so important to understand what these words are doing to us because psychologically they speak back to us and how our body even feels about it. And so the thing that I always ask is if someone says, well, my goal is A, B, and C for this week, 3 things that I'm going to be working on. I go, okay, I know that that's your goal. Now my next question is, are you committed to it? And they have to switch that from saying that's my goal to I am committed to. Changes
Absolutely.
the whole thing. It's
Yep.
quite phenomenal.
No, it is. So I give a very similar example. So I speak at high schools for juniors and
Amazing.
seniors, stuff like that. So one of the things I did, I gave an example. I said, okay, who here likes tuna sandwiches? Right. So like 2% of people raise their hands. I said, all right. I said, okay, if I told you eating a tuna sandwich every single day for lunch would get you $1 million at the end of the year, would you eat a tuna sandwich? Everybody's hand went up. Right now, who here like turkey sandwiches? More hands went up. So, okay, if I told you eating a turkey sandwich might get you $1 million end of the year, who would eat a turkey sandwich? The difference is you will get $1 million. You might get $1 million.
Yep.
You see how you guys changed? You were willing to put yourself to the quote unquote pain of eating tuna to get the $1 million in the year. Because why? We're so used to being safeguarding and saying, I'll take the sure bet over the 50-50 bet. Right. And I should so I just want to give that story there for that, but their MDTA, and I wanted to make sure it worked. I applied it to my health.
Ooh, I like this.
I applied it to my health, and I'm happy to say 18 months later, it is an amazing thing.
18 months later.
18 months
Wow.
later. 18 months later, it stayed.
So MDTA, so how did you apply that? We got to go to our next break here in just a few seconds here, but I want to hear how you applied that to your health, because this is the meat of anybody that's like, I can't do it. Like, I don't want to change my life and all of that. So let's go to our next break here. And then I want to hear how you apply that to your health, because I couldn't agree with that more. 100%. So guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to go to our last break here. But when we come back, we're going to hear how this applied to Navid's health. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Enns will provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Enns. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, I'm excited for this. One more time, you're going to be able to find Navid at Navid Moosa across all.
At the Navid Moosa, yeah.
At the, not just at the, because he is the. So make sure you go check him out there. I know you're on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, you have
LinkedIn,
a website,
yeah,
you know,
exactly,
all
yeah.
the things. You need to start a YouTube channel, by the way.
I actually am on YouTube. I do YouTube shorts. I am on YouTube shorts.
Great.
Yes.
Good to know. Let's dive right into this method on how you apply this to your health.
All right. So, like the average individual, New Year comes around and you start going to the gym, you make these commitments, and by March, you're out the door, right? That's really about it. That's been going on. And I'm no different, right? That was me for years and years and years. And when I was turning 40, I was like, oh, I'm going to get on a stage. I'm going to get on a stage and start working, get right on all that stuff.
Like bodybuilding?
Yeah, right. That was my thing. Like, but I did it for the wrong reason. My friend did it. And I'm like, you're bony as hell. If you can do it, I can do it. I'm a big dude. I got a good base. I got a good base foundation. I'm better than you, super arrogant, super egocentric. So I never hit it, but he did. He ended up going on the stage and getting a couple of awards and stuff like that. But his why wasn't a vanity-based why. My why was a vanity-based why. So he was able to accomplish it. So years go on and I'm like, I really have to get serious. My kids are getting older. They're getting more active. And historically speaking, the males in our family don't really go past the age of 65, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's, my grandfather's exception. Outside of that, 65, 66, we're done. So I'm like, okay, I can't have that happen. I don't want that to happen. But if it is, it is. But so I'm like, okay, I've created this MDTA method and it works for businesses. I'm like, it should work for my health. So first was, what is my mindset? Why was I not successful in the past? Well, my why was vanity. So once I realized that, okay, I'm doing it for the wrong reason. I shouldn't do it for the revenge body. Shouldn't do it to do anything that's, to make anybody jealous or to whatever. Yeah. Once I get that out, I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for my kids, not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for me because I want to look a certain way when I look in the mirror. I want to feel a certain way. I want to not get exhausted tying my shoes. I want to walk 10 flights of stairs and get to the top of the whatever. So now my mindset is in place. My mindset is that I'm going to be the best version I can be from the day I wake up to the day I go to sleep. Simple as that. Then it was the discipline. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to show up. And I need to stop feeling entitled. There's no part of the universe, whether you believe in God or not, that says because you treated your body like crap for the past 30, 20, 40, 50 years by eating cheeseburgers and french fries and fried foods and sugary foods, that because you go to the gym 1 hour a day, 5 days a week for 6 months, you're going to have this result. No. It's not written that way. Right? It's not. So then I realized that discipline is I have to go rain or shine. I have to get there. Then it was the time. What about the time management? My day is packed. The time in the past, I would say I'm going to do 2 hours a day. If I can't find an hour a day, how the hell am I going to find 2 hours a day? That doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm setting myself for failure. So I said, all right, let me commit to 30 minutes a day. Let me commit to 30 minutes at home and 30 minutes at the gym. Let me start it that way. That actually helped me create my 4-hour work week, my 4 hours a day schedule, actually, believe it or not. Wow. Because I was working crazy hours, but I'm like, you know what? if I'm the owner of the company and I'm the boss of the company, I should be able to set my own damn hours of what time I get calls and what time I don't get calls. So I basically told everybody, listen, I have a standing 9 o'clock every day except for Wednesday. Do not book a Zoom or meeting from 9 to 10. I have a standing meeting. So that's how I created my 9 to 10. And then I take a shower, eat, post workout, and then I start my day at 11 o'clock. That's how it became created. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So now mindset was there. The discipline was there. The time, a realistic time allotment of 1 hour a day was there. And now action.
Yep.
I have to now show up.
Yep.
I have to show up every single day when I say it. If I already booked out 9 to 10 a.m., 4 days a week, basically, and then 8 to 9 on Saturdays, I now have to go in. The funny thing, Lizzie, is what I realized when I first started, when I would put my shoes on, I started creating excuses. I was like, I put my shoes on, like, what can I do to get out of this workout? I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I want to be this person. I got to be this person. So
Yeah.
then I had to put everything into action.
Yep.
I'm happy to say 18 months later, about 25, 30 pounds later, and about 10% body fat later, I'm still in. I'm still in.
Absolutely.
And I'm eating real
phenomenal.
food. I'm eating amazing real food. Not eating fake crap. Not eating prepackaged. No, real food. So it works.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Congratulations on that, by the way,
Thank
because
you.
really, honestly, that is what everybody needs to understand is if you want long-term health, that is the method that you want to go. And that's what I teach. Also, I just didn't call it an MDTA method. But really, honestly, that's what it takes. And I was thinking about this as you were talking about like that 9 to 10, like nobody book a caller, but you book that appointment with yourself.
Right.
And that is where you have to get into that mindset of like, you got all the vanity stuff out in place. Cause here's what I always tell people is like, if you're only doing it for vanity reasons, you're going to quit.
Yep.
You're not going to do it long term. You may do it for 12 weeks, maybe, because anybody can do anything for 12 weeks. It takes about 21 days to develop a habit. But did you know that it takes 90 days to actually cement that habit in?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah. So you have that part, but then beyond that is what are you going to do? That's why I'm not a fan of doing something like 75
hard. Oh,
we
gosh,
talk about this because it ruins people. Now, if you want to do it for that period of time and then you learn what you need to learn in order to continue on with consistency beyond that, great, fine. If you want to push yourself to that. But the problem is a lot of people do it. And then at the end of those 75 days, they're like, I'm done because it was so extreme. So
you've hit a number, a goal. That's why this is a lifestyle. We've spoken about this.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle.
I love this so much because I think that once you get that, everything else just becomes noise. Everything else is just noise. You realize at this point in time that it really is not as complicated as we think it is.
Oh, absolutely. We complicate it. We make it so difficult, from meal prepping to working out to what latest fad to do. This is not a 30-day hustle.
Yeah, overconsumption of information.
Yeah.
Something that I realized a few weeks ago. Most people are overeducated on the wrong things and undereducated on the right things.
Oh, I like that. I love that, Liz. That is amazing. Wow. Holy crap. Wow. Man, that actually, that's really, really good. That's a shirt. That's a hashtag.
That's a shirt.
That is amazing. That's so true. Oh, Lizzie, I'm like, all these things are popping in my head right now. You're saying that. You're so right. That goes across the board on so many different things.
Yeah. We have 30 seconds.
Okay.
Any last things you want to say?
First of all, I love you. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate that. It's an amazing thing, and keep doing what you're doing. If anyone says anything different, they can kiss my ass and kiss your ass too. Just keep doing what you're doing. I love your message. I love your energy. I love what you bring to the table.
Thank you, Navid. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to the I'm Not Fine show. Lizzie Ends returns Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, have the best week of your life by making choices that take you from feeling fine to feeling amazing.